Alright, Reader's Digest, complete do-it-yourself manual. Alright, section 1, hand tools, how to choose and use them. Your basic toolkit: workpiece, hammers, hammering saw, sawing, special purpose saws, sharpening, setting saws, screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches, measuring and marking, hand drill, braces, planes, special purposes, planes, chisel, gouges, files, filing, vices and clamps, tools for soldering and sharpening and sanding and sandpaper. Alright, and let's go to section 1. I kind of went too far. Alright, section 1. Hand tools and how to choose them and use them. Alright, buying stages. Apartment dwellers, as a rule, limit themselves to the few tools shown below. Will take care of most of their needs with a good many of the requirements of the homeowner as well. With purchasing any kind of tool, always buy the best. Good hammer, for example, a lifetime investment, and in the long run, it will cost you less than 2 or 3 cheap replacements. When you start adding your tools to the first 2 items, the line should be the electrical drills, vice, and vice shown quickly attached to the kitchen table. Serious work chains of vice to a 3.5-inch shoals mounting on a sturdy bent workbench. Page 12, toilet plunger will probably save you many of $10 bills when drain gets stopped up. Be sure that you get one with a long handle before you buy and many more tools. Equip yourself with a tote box that have the removable tray. You can use the box to store your tools tray and carry the necessary equipment into the job. Either other tools you may add own once, depending upon the particular type of work capable of doing. Last, our list of the suggested purchases. Second, power tool should own the electrical saw. The first, of course, with the electrical drill. Right tools for the job. Alright, workbenches. The unit can be designed with the closest door with at least 6 inches square between the door of the closes and shelves. Make at least 1/2-inch pine or plywood. Actual dimensions depending on the width of the closet door. You must be sure that they have plenty of the clearance for the door to open and close with a particular unit of 32 inches high and 20 inches wide. The widest bottom dimension is 8 inches. The back is 1/8 of an inch pegboard, which can be hung with hooks and inserted with the pegboard holes. Slot cut into the cross supports. The holes should vary in size from 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch and elongated the holes with such of the chisels and files. Drawer can be sectioned with nail screws or other small hardware. Center of the rack on the door with the mount slightly above the knob with 4 long screws. Be sure to drive them into the solid part of the door. It's necessary to span the whole hollow part with the 2 battens screwed into the solid part mounting rack on these. And it shows a picture of mounting simple workbench, 6 feet long workbench, easily built with 2x4s and 1/4 inch plywood. First cut 2x4s, legs using 4 pieces for each of the cut the size of the drawing. Next cut with 2 stretchers, sword secured to the length leg of the section with the dowels and glue. Fasten them with the stretchers at 6 and 1/2 inch bolts. Mashing them through the drill with the stretchers, cutting with the 4 pipe stubs from 3/4 inch pipe and installing them in the strength of the points indicated with the drawing. Each stub has a hole drilled in for bolts. This avoids the need for the drive screws into the end of the grains, which have very little holding strength. The top is made with 2 pieces of the 3/4 inch plywood covered with a 1/4 inch hardboard backboard and shelf. Complete construction. Advanced workbench. If you could build more ambitious, you could build the spacious workbench with these 3 drawers, 3 shelf cabinets, ample storage space with tools, hardware, and paints. First step of making the end of the frames, bottom of the member to the end of the frames of the attached with the bottom members of the 6-inch bolt with lag bolts Long wood screws by MBU would mean forcing the screws into the end grain, which have little or holding strength. Instead, 4-pipe stubs were cut with a 3/4-inch pipe hole drilled in each of the 3/4-inch bolt. 3/8-inch bolts pass through the leg of the end frame of the pre-drilled hole into the bottom member, and through the hole in the pipe nuts of the nuts. Complete with these. Some of the top consists of 3/4-inch sheets with fit plywood tape topped with a 1/4-inch thick hardboard glue and clamped it together and let it dry overnight. If you like, you can dress up the finished tops of the gluing of the strip the oak and other hardwood around the sides to hide the edge of the grain of the plywood. Make the drawer components before you make the drawers. It's easier to fit a drawer in a compartment than the other way around. Each is fitted with a center guide and slide with 2 plastic laminate runners. A back panel covers the space between the drawer section. Cabinet sections can vary from the dimension cabinet areas to fit your own particular space requirements, but as a general guide, bear in mind that 36 inches is the ideal height for the workbench. Choosing a right hammer. The curved claw nail hammer is a tool used for the nailing and the nail pulling. It's used bell face slightly with a convex strike force and minimizing marring when the nails are driven flush and with reduced nail deflection from the off-angle blows. Hammer weights based on the head of the weight are commonly 7 ounces, very light work with 3, 16, and 20 ounces general carpentry. Ripping hammers with straight claws are designed for rough work, dismantling, opening crates, whether the straight claws with more readily between the boards with prying. Usually there are 20 ounce, 28, and 32 ounce for the heavy duty work. Either with the types of the head should be dried drop forged steel rather than brittle cast iron. The handles should be steel fiber or glass, but the hammers must be withstand excessive heat or humidity to avoid dangerous chipping and striking nails of the other sub-object squares. Shows a curved hand claw, attack hammers, and ball peen, sledgehammer, and a mallet. How to use hammers. In a nail grip, the hammer near the end of the handle with a hold the nail between the thumb and the forefinger of the left hand with the tap tip of the right until the string stands up within the wood. Take your fingers away from the drive of the nail to avoid marring the surface of the marring of the nails in the place of the piece of the wood under the hammer head, and thick bolt block gives you a better leverage on with the longer nails. A ball peen hammer, not a claw hammer, is best for metalworking. Using nail hammer to do the strike metal hards, then facing can damage it and likely cause dangerous chipping. Okay. Getting the most out of your hammer. Quality hammers can last a lifetime, and you with properly reasonable care, but do not use the hammer to work with the intent with the do like with the riveting of the nail hammer to strike only with the striking face of the hammer, never with the side of the track. Do not use the hammer to hit anything with the harder than the hammer striking face. For the reason for this precaution, impact power often as 300 pounds can damage the tool. Similarly, handle leverage forcing nail pulling may reach several thousand pounds. Use the nail pulling racking bar that instead of the claw hammer to have the pull very large nails or spikes. If you have a wood handled hammer, keep it in an enlivening area with a sense of humidity. For example, the damp basement can swell wood fibers inside of the handles head, crushing them, losing the head and making the handle replacement necessary with extreme dryness, and shuffle above the radiator can shrink the handle, which can also loosen the dry shrunk handle that can often be restored with never to be brief with water soaking over the head and with the hammer. After the solve of the operation, find a better storage spot for the hammer. If the hammer or the other tool is stored in the unheated area, such as the outbuilding or garage, with condensation on the metal surface caused with the temperature change that produces rusting, and unless the metal is protected with a storage and film of oil, lightly engine oil, suitable for this purpose. Alright, sawing and sawing. Type of tools. Hand saw with something cross-cutting ripping saw from the 2-blade with the patterns, upper edge straight, back pattern above the serve the line marker, screw back head tampered not suited for marking as preferred, some of it because the saw seems more flexible. The hacksaw used joint cutting with a reinforced back edge with keeping the blade rigid. The typical lengths for the 10 to 16 inches longer with the various versions of the Miller box. The saw runs from 20 to 26 inches. 22 to 26 inches to cut with a smoothly teeth that are finer and crosscut or rip saws, coping saws. For cutting small diameter curves without having to spring with a steel frame with the tension by adjusting with a whole blades taut and blades either are 3/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch wide from 6 to 6 and 5/8 of an inch long with the blades mounted in the shape of the direction. A compass saw has a name tapered end of the cutting curves of the starting from the board handle with a similar to the keyhole saw, which was once used to cut keyholes in wooden doors. Hacksaw for metal cutting the ridge frame of the blades with 8 to 12 inches long high-speed steel blade mounted with the teeth that slammed away from the handle with the drawn top of the end wing nut. We're using a crosscut saw. A crosscut performance depends on the quality of the saw with how to use them. High quality crosscut with the teeth that are usually precision grounded to tiny points with the cut sharply across the wood fibers of the teeth of the low price saw through the same shape of the rarely precision ground and quality saw. Quality saws cut faster than the same effort from you. The number of the teeth per inch referred to as points commonly range from 7 to 12. Saw that has 7 teeth to inch is called 7-point saw. When the saw has a low point number, it cuts fast but leaves hot, rough surface. Higher number saws work more slowly but are smoother cutting, and for average of 7 to 8 points as usual. Finer work is 10 points. To reduce saw friction, boost efficiency, alternative teeth are bent with outward with a 1/4 inch blade thickness for the opposite side with the result when the cut slightly wider than the blade thickness. Let the saw cut freely. To begin cutting, use a butt proportion of the blade. Near the handle, use several pulling strokes to make the starting of the groove. Do not cut with the mark line on the waist with the throwaway side to minimize the chance of the cutting short. Continue with 4 strokes. For fast cutting, even the distribution tooth wear along the blade because of the cross cut of both of the forward and back strokes under its own weight. You only need to apply a little pressure for using it. The most efficient cutting angle between the saw edge and the surface of the work is 45 degrees. Using a rip saw. A rip saw is designed to cut parallel with the edges of the grain sawing with the board lengthwise, usually 26 inches blade with a 5.5 inch teeth per inch. Teeth shaped like a miniature chisel with their cutting edge of the crosswise of the saw, literally chop their way through the wood. Alternate teeth of the factory side outward of the 1/2 inch of the blade thickness. Opposite side widen with the cut and with the reduced friction to start. Rip and cut with the tip of the portion of the blade, not with the butt, with the cross saw. With the cross saw, since the quality of the rip saw teeth are 1 point finer, 6.5 at the end of the fewer short pulling strokes to begin with a full stroke. Although the rip saw is cut only, forward stroke is sharp. One can cut up to 10 feet and a minimum nominal 1 inch white pine. A taper ground blade thinner of the back edge of the tooth edge, thinner of the tip of the butt, and reduce the sawing effort considerably. Available high quality rip and cross cut saws and saw veers away from line or long cut, few slightly toward the line as you saw. Just steer the back on the course to avoid sharp bending. Using a backsaw. Backsaw is designed joint cutting work. It is made of 10 to 16 inch lengths, usually 12 to 13 teeth per inch of smooth cuts across the grain. Miter box saw, the longer version. Backsaws up to 26 inches have 11 teeth per inch. The deep of the backsaw with the miter box. First mark of the work of the cut. Line up with the mark with the hole of the slot cut in the waist side of the line. Hold work against the back of the box. Start with the backstroke and holding of the handle entitled and slightly upward lift up as level as to proceed to cut without a miter box. Use a bench hook as shown. Coping saws, a curve cutting and a filigree work. A coping saw with the delegate with a supplemental and filigree work cut curves smaller than the pencil diameter, much smaller than the can be cut with a compass or keyhole saw with the replace the blades of the 6 to 6 and 5/8 of an inch long. Depending on the saw, may as narrow as 7 1/100ths of an inch with 2 to 20 teeth per inch. Spiral types are even slimmer, and types of available for the cutting wood or plastic, thin metal with the chain of the blades and turn with the handle dilution of the threaded mounting grip of the spring with the saw with the frame and end together between their body and the workbench with the frames ended with a sprung and inward out blade. Old blade can be removed, new one inserted. Slant teeth, it depends upon how the work is to be done with the mounted vertically on the vise. For the teeth should be slanted away from the handle so the work will be cutting on the push stroke. For example, For exacting delicate scroll work, the teeth should be slant toward the handle with the cutting with a pull stroke of the blade can be determined during the work without removing it from the frame. To keep the frame clear of the edge of the material of the cut, the direction of the depth of between the blade and the back frame at usually 4.5 to 6.5 inches. Saw of the frames depend depths are 6 to 8 to 12 inches, somewhat at times called scroll saws, fret saws, or deep throat coping saws. These blades are mounted with the teeth slant toward handle and cut with a pull stroke, with the reducing chance of the blade spring out. Compass and keyhole saws for hole cutting. Typical compass saws have 12 to 14 inch blades with 8 to 10 teeth per inch. For the key saw, however, the narrow of the blades usually 10 to 12 inches long with 10 teeth per inch. Either can cut curves through keyhole saws cut with a smaller diameter with the compass saw, but also with the suit of the making either curved or straight cuts starting in the type of the bored hole. Since they are not a frame type, they are not limited to the coping saw is to the working near the edge of the panel, so this can be used to cut openings of the floors, walls for pipes, or electrical outlets with a cutting starting with a bored hole and starting with a hole and vertical strokes to begin with. As the cutting progress bring the saw to about 45 degree angle. You can start with a cut from the edge. The saw can be approximately single from the beginning. Hacksaw cutting metal. Hacksaw is equipped with the correct blade with the cut practically with any metal with the encounter with the shop work with the avoid breakers, draw with the blade taut to the frame with the prevent flexing with the blade chance. Blade choice depending on the material thickness general with the coarse of the teeth with the metal with the progressively finer teeth with the thinner metal. At least two teeth should always be in contact with the material so the thin section can hook between the two and break them. When there are cutting variants of the thin stock tip of the saw with the teeth and it shows wavy set contact part of the surface instead of the edge of the chain high-speed steel blades handle the most of the cutting chore likely to be faced with if you want blades that will perform well, you with a regular set longer time polypodium alloy blades that cost a little more. Standard blades last up to 10 times as long for the toughest curing of the use of the mount over the work and avoid the jig and it cannot shift. And brake blade with the grip of the handle of the shovel with the right hand with the hold with the front of the frame with your left hand with the make with the slow strikes and then you with the moderate down pressure with the forward cutting stroke and almost no pressure with the back stroke. Use as much of the blade length as you can with the maximum cutting speed with the minimum tooth wear. If available, blades are with a wavy set teeth with a stock regular with a general work. Blade should have 14 teeth per inch to cut bronze and aluminum, copper, brass, cast iron, machine steel more than 1 inch thick. 18 teeth in copper, aluminum, bronze, high-speed steel, tool steel, and needle steel, 1/4 inch to 1 inch thick. 24 teeth, 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. Iron steel, wrought iron pipe, brass, copper, tubing, drill, rod, and items such as electrical conduity as 32 teeth, the same materials for 1/8 of an inch thick or less. Sharpening and setting is solved. Step-by-step of the procedure. Saw sharpening is necessary only with the saws cutting with a rate slowed down. Which usually means a simple file touch up. Normally, you can restore with a full cutting speed wave for 4 or 5 times before the teeth need to be reset. As a preliminary step, slide a flat tip file and held with the absolutely level along with the top of the teeth to make with the very small flat areas on the tooth points. This will serve as guide in sharpening with a small triangular file with the same file with you with the ripped cross teeth to sharpen the cross-cut saw. Clamp it to fit into the vise between the two hardwood strips as shown at the gullet of the bottoms of the no more than a half inch above the strips to prevent file chatter. Start at the blade tip on the left, and then the first tooth will set towards you and rest the file on the gullet in the left of the tooth, and then move the file handle into your left until the file sits against the bevel of the teeth, while the file held the level of the angle file down into the gullet until you cut away half of the adjacent flat tops made by the flat file. Skip the next gullet at the right of the repeat procedure with one after the continuous skip file with the sequence removing the half of the tooth points flat until you reach about the handle of the end of the blade. Reverse the saw as though the vise for the handle to the left. Again, starting with the blade tip, now you're right. Place the file on the gullet to the right of the first tooth that is toward you. First of the full gullet, skip to the following other side of the blade. Move the file hand over to the right until the seats of the tooth let bevel and file until you have cut away the other half of the flat adjacent to 2 points. Skip the next gullet and file half of the flats only the one after the gullet is until the sharpen at all of the teeth. Rip saws are sharpened exactly the same way, except they file using straight across the blade at a right angle, but do not mortar the entire job one side of the saw. Reversing the saw with the vise necessary for the equalized file variation could otherwise cause the saw to veer to one side when cutting. After sharpening of the teeth, check for the bolts holding the handle, make sure they are tight. Using screwdrivers. Screwdrivers should be matched to the screw sides with the screws driven over the underside of the screwdriver that likely suffer the slot, and when the head damage of the oversized screwdrivers may fit slot but may damage the work when using flathead screws. Take Phillips head screws adequate range of the size you need with at least 2 Phillips types of screwdrivers. Blades must fit in the screw slot. Drivers. Drive the number of screws rapidly with the handle of the spiral ratchet and the screwdriver is best. Simply push down with the handle of the spiral ratchet, spins on the blade, and can be reversed to move the screws locked with the ordinary screwdriver. The hard to turn screws, you can use the offset screwdrivers, one or more square block blade shank equipped to take a wrench. For hard to reach spaces, there are screw handling screwdrivers. Hold the screws to the tip. Start with the holes and small screws easily made within all of the larger screws will use the hand and electrical drill. Alright, shows a square blade shank with a take of the wrench, standard blade with a tip of the general use, stubby screwdriver for tight spots, Phillips screwdriver, Jennifer G. Walter screwdriver for fine work, ratchet type screwdriver, other type of awkward spots, holding tip, offset ratchet, spiral turn screwdriver handle and push down. Type of pliers. Familiar with the slip of the joint plier with the name of the 2-position private pivots provides both normal and wide jaw openings. Broad jawed lineman's pliers have side cutters with a clip of the heavy-duty wire with cutting edge splicing. Channel type pliers with multiple positions, pivots adjust with the jaws opening up to 2 inches while grip in any shape. Long nose pliers are used with shaped wire and thin metal, often for the cutting as well. The diagonal cutting pliers have no gripping jaws and are used cutting only, and use the cutting only with the ending cutting clinton snippers, which can be snipped in wires and small nails and brads. So slip joint pliers, long nose pliers, diagonal cutting pliers, lineman's pliers, channel type pliers, and end cutting pliers. Combination plier wrench. A plier wrench functions as a plier wrench and vise when it has been the desired gap adjusted with a compound lever action. Locks an auxiliary lever, releases it for work on round objects such as pipe and curved jaw type. Wrench types and uses. Wrench grips not only hold bolt heads, but in special format other objects as pipe and spark plugs. In general, wherever the wrench can be applied over the end of the work of tightening a fuel line connection. Open-end wrench is used. The adjustable open-end wrench fits many sizes, whereas the wrench can be applied with the end of the work as removing the nut. Box or socket wrench is used and can operate with tighter quarters than an open-end wrench. The Allen wrench, sometimes called the hexagonal key wrench, hexagonal recesses various alien type screws and set screws for round objects such as pipes and Stilsons, and a pipe wrench is used to movable upper jaws tighten automatically as the pressure is applied to the handle. Alright, so there's the adjustable wrench, the double-ended box wrench, the ratchet box wrench, Speedworks, other double-ended box wrench, combination open-ended and box wrench, double-ended open wrench. It has 2 sizes, double throw socket wrench, a nut driver, Stilson pipe wrench, a ratchet handled with socket screw handles. Measuring and marking. Using rules and tape. Folding a wood rule is usually generally measuring, especially with a rigid and even extendable across the wide openings like stairwells and steel tape. Rules flexibility enables the measure around as well as straight objects and compactness saves space in toolbox and pocket. Shows a folding wood rule and a steel tape ruler. Using squares, try squares for to test the joining surface squareness, marking with the right angle cuts, combination squares for the job of the more include miter marking, rafters and framing squares, both marking square and carpenter's calculator scale with the as you can mark any craft cutters according to roof pitch. T bevels used to measure the angle of the transfer of another. Shows the combination square, T bevel, a tri-square, and a rafter square. Using level, the wood and aluminum magnesium level come in lengths for the tube with a various purpose. Short and is line levels with a suspended taut string with a for the long span leveling the grade foundation work. Longest mason level usually 4 feet long. Carpenter level is about 2 feet long. When the slightly curved bubble tubes or vials run length. Wise, they are level tubes as checking the horizontal surface of vials run across while the plumb for using checks verticals. Some levels have adjustable variable vials calibrated 0 to 9 degrees for checking pitch surfaces. Others include a 45-degree tube. Selecting a level can be read through the top of the floor work that can be read through the side of the work or above the eye level. Shows a carpenter's lever, torpedo leveler, and a line leveler, a mason's level, and a torpedo level. Tools for marking. The marking gauge is used to make lengthwise scratch on the board, cutting the width for the pencil mark with a combination square drift, the width of the line with the board edge of the pencil held against the blade end of the mark. The small circular cuts using a wide wing divider available to the twin metal with the points of scratching marching with the width of the point of the pencil. For large circular marking, use a pair of trammel points mounted on the wooden batten metal pointed trammel that may be used at the center of the marking. Trammel points may have pencil adapter for very long straight lines using a chalk line. Alright, hand drills and braces using brace and bit. Bit brace can bore over the hole of the material. Power drill can't, but it takes longer. It does, however, have the advantage of being usable with no electrical current. Is available. It's practical to noiseless. The chuck in which the bits are held requires tamper shank with the bits with the most mild through the bit braces. Also made with the universal chuck to take the round and square with the tapered shanks. For even the encounter with the average shaft with a regular tapered chuck is adequate. It's an important feature of the quality bit with the brace of the ratchet can be set with the transfer of the back and forth handle with the movement and turning and movement of the chuck with a clockwise counterclockwise direction. This makes it possible to bore holes, drive and remove screws in the cramp space of turning it. Force for the torque of the tool depends on the sweep of the diameter of the circle within which the handle turns. Ranges from 18 to 14 inches wide. Wider than sweep, greater than force. 10-inch sweep is a good compromise that suits most purposes of the average shop. To bore a perpendicular surface over the hole over the work, position the square and square block on it with the line with the bit with the one corner from one side of the adjust for the tip of the merges either side with the remove of the bit from the hole of the backing out and shows the drill in the both sides with the preventing it from splitting. Bore from one side until the just of the tip of the bit emerges from the other side. Remove the bit from the hole of the backing out of it. Continue with the hole of the opposite side. With the carefully insert the tip of the bit into the small exit hole to avoid splitting the wood from full width of the bit emerges. If you want to drill part of the way through, then stopping it with a specific depth of wrap some tape around the shank of the bit with the points roughly equal to the depth of the required hole. Then place the pencil mark on the tape that equals the exact depth you want it. While marking the guide, you won't be confused at whether the top or the bottom of the tape of the marks for the required depth. Alright, shows a principal parts of the ratchet: tip of the head, quill, handle, sweep, and the twice of the radius of center of the mark, bow, cam ring, paw, ratchet end, shell, and jaws. Bits: corkscrews shaped with the word working bits in the bit braces are called auger bits. The most widely used forms of Jennings types are also called double twists, and single solid center bits of the double twist leaves the cleaner hole. Solid centers and stiffers were useful with the deep holes wavy grain, but with a reed available the diameters of 1/4 inch to 1 inch in. In lengths usually from 7 to 10 inches for larger diameters to 3 inches. Use the adjustable expanse for the bits for the long holes deeper within bit length and for the bit extension. Spade bits cut much of less of the augmented type cum size of 1/4 inch to 1 inch with 1/16 inch increments. The shallow, flat bottom holes from the Forstner bit, which must have the carefully located with the work tampered lightly with the servo that started with the drill material with the special twist drills, tempered for the purpose of the mating with the diameters of the 1/16 of an inch up countersink bits, recess the holes, flathead screws, screwdriver's bit, driver's round head, as well as flathead screws. They are handy with the removing the stubborn screws. Shows a Jennings pattern, a solid center, expansive bit, a Forstner bit, a spade bit, a countersink, and a screwdriver. Using a hand drill. Hand drills crank operated utilized with a large wheel gear with meshes a small pinion with the trim of the drill chuck. Approximately 3 revolutions every turn of the crank. It provides adequate with the speed with the drilling wood, metal, and plastic straight and shank with a twist drill. With the drills are used singly and they are instead with the hand drill diameters drilled with generally with a range from 332 to 132 to 1/4 of an inch increments and 1/16 of an inch. Although smaller size with the made with the doing with a certain type of work, they are seldom used with one of the particular tools. You use the drill with the hole with the main handle, with the left hand with the thumb with the top of the vertical drilling. In any manner that they are comfortable and gives you with the firm control of the tool with applied little moderate pressure amount depending on the diameter of the drill. Very small drill with applied with the turning force to with the crank handle with the up and down portions of the crank to turn only to avoid side thrust and wobble that might bend and break the twist drill to make a hole in the wood. Using all to make a starting hole in metal. Use the center punch the initial step of the necessary to keep the drill from wandering in the metal. Drilling less than pressure of the drill when it is about to break through the surface of the work to prevent catching of the burr or the breaking of the few drops of oil applied with the occasionally move the parts about. All the maintenance of the tool requires. Heavy-duty handle of the are called the breast drills, and instead of the handle with the trim end of the head and give the curved extension, pressing against the extension that enables the operator to apply with considerable force for the drilling into the metal and the hardwood. Some of the hand drills have the hollow detachable handles for destroying extra drill bits. Handled drills are except the bits up to 1/4 of an inch into the diameter with a breast drill. They take drills up to 3/8 of an inch in diameter. Hand drills and braces, sharpening bits with the best tool with the sharpening with the auger bit with the auger file, shaped especially for the purpose of available to most of the hardware stores. The flat literal cutters only bit are beveled with the surface of the forward square shank with the bit is shown in a left-hand drawing with the file only with the bevel to restore. Sharp edge removed with little metal as possible. Sharpening the round spurs as parameter. Bit up file only from the inside shown with the right hand drawing. Do not attempt to sharpen any of the pointed lead screw with the center of the bit type. The auger bit may also be used to sharpen the expense of the bit used for the drawing below. File only with the original bevel surface with the auger bit. If the auger bit is not available to flatten, either the file may be used for this sharpening job. Twist drill bits or even the drilling metal must be sharpened by grinding because they are hardened, so they have the best done with the drilling. Sharpening with the jig with the which of the hole of the drill and the proper angle with the grinding of the wheels of the jig of the type of available with the instruction hardware store with the bit brace used however the twist of the drill is a bit seldom needs sharpening and if to keep the brush free. Light oil soap with the wax from the lubricant and when the hole with the being drilled the edges of the job and loosens the bit wear and apply it in intervals during the work. Alright, planes. Choosing and using plane. Planes are used with the trim and wood side with a smooth and straight, irregular edge with the bevel, the chamfer with a special form, the groove with the sharpest wood, with the molding with the types of the plane vary according to use. The back block plane is the smallest regular shot plane, about with 6 inches long with a blade and plane iron is mounted with the bevel up the low angle of the plane and with the long with the grain and across the ends of the best type with a small and soothing fitting job with the block of the plane can be operated on one hand with the trimming plane usually 3.5 inches long with an inch blade with a wide blade with a small and with a delicate work with the model markers plane unlike with the proceeding of the two convex instead of the flat bottom with the curvature sideways with lengthwise the planes flat or mildly concave surface of similar size to the trim plane. Smooth plane is 7 to 10 inches long with a blade with 1 3/4 of an inch of the wide mounted bevel down. The top of the blade breaks with the shaping of the shavings and the maximize with the strip of the roughing. Good for light with a moderate general. The scrub plane is size comparable to smooth plane, which with the narrower blade 1 1/4 inch with a round cutting edge. Choose it for the fast rough cutting and is also produced with a hand-drawn, hand-hewn effect. Jack plane averages 12 to 15 inches in length, around 2 inches of blade width. The general use of plane, much as well as the smooth plane, better edge is straightening because the is greater than the length of force and joiner planes like the jack plane, but longer within 18 to 24 inches. The best choice for edge straightening. Okay, so the wedge lever, the wedge iron, the cap iron, the blade, the screw, the cap screw, the center screw, the adjusting lever of the knurled knob, and that's a diagram of a jack plane. Or block planes over the basic block plane type of the described with adjustable with the non-adjustable. Both of them can be adjusted with the cap of the depth and cutting depth with the increase of the degrees of the adjustable type of the turning with the increase adjustable wheel to loosen the blade, moving it in and out with the hand of the moving and tightening of the wheel on either type of the alignment of the blade cutting edge of the plane. Mouth must be done by hand with the blade loose with the block planes with the non-adjustable type of the lower priced with adjustable type of the more inconvenient. The plane off the end of the grain of the board set with the plain iron shallow cut with the making the sure with the iron is sharp with the before starting the cut with the sure with the bevel with the ends and slightly important. If you do not plane with a split with the wood is near the end of the cut, make the bevel cut with a plane of 45-degree angle. Blade adjustment. To remove the lots of the material set with the depth of the edge of the starting level shallow with the finish of the grain. If the grain is apparent, the check with the surface area with the first stroke with the roughness. Often noticeably playing with the opposite wave of the open on one of the wave of the grain is set with a shallow cut with the plane with the angle with the general work set with the plane with the iron cap on the large planes around 1/16 of an inch back from the cutting edge on the curly wood close to the edge of the possible not only on it sharpen the large plane iron grid only with grind only with the original bevel leaving the top flat using a shooting board. Shooting boards are made with nailing one square edge of the board higher than another with the cross pieces shown with the drawing below with the top block at one end of the while working rest of the upper board. And edge projection of plane can be tipped off on side and side along the lower board and trip the work edge of the perfectly square. Special purpose planes, how to use the rapid plane. The rapid plane may cover the wide with the bottom of the distance, with the cut with the depth, and with the guide with the wide with the fence, batten work. It can cut with the recess step of the surface of the board, adjoining with the edge of each stroke. It depends on the recess until the required with the depth of the reef that crosses with the grain and replaning, and sharpen and spur with attachment. And you with the score with the edge of the cut with the prevent the tier of fibers. Using a hand rotor. Hand rotors are used chiefly to even smooth at the bottom of the square groove size with as might leave with the receiver at the end of the shelf after the material that has been roughed out with between the saw cuts, usually a chiseled open thrust of the rotor plane. Shows below the adjustable the guide fence with the smaller the hand or route with the guide with the bat and work with the cutting of the depths and can be increased instead of the final level. How to use a spokes have either the smooth of the chamfer curve of the edge of the convex or concave blade cutting the depth into the hand of the on some of the model screwing the adjustment with the others with the we use with the work of the vise with the graphs over the bolt over the high handle with the pushing and the pulling along with the work of the spokes have much must have the within the grain of the often push along one of the section of the plug and pulled along with the other the standard to avoid having the chip of the work with the vise since the spoke have is kind of the plane the cutter must be with kept and sharpened to do its job. Sharpening as you would sharpen a plain iron. Oil on the cutting of the edge when the tool is not in use will prevent rusting. Alright, softener tools in there. Use of softener tools can be used with the plane with the old file fashion with the wood, aluminum, copper, brass, plastic, laminates, and some of the material with the shaving and passing through with the blades and the recess above the tool. The use with the shades greater and by some. Because of the multiple cutting of the edge of the replaceable blades are well suited for the end grain cutting of the smoothing of the convex surfaces. Use with a high and light and moderate pressure. So a straight edge rasp plane, a curved rasp plane, and a block type rasp plane. Using a draw knife remove the material rapidly operating with somewhat with a spoke shaft, but taking as much heavier cuts and handle with the drawn towards the user, and cutting drawing depth towards the angle with the handle with it can be used with a rough cut large piece with the prior handling to remove the large corner portion with a square lumber at starting of the round and cutting the edges width to 10 to 12 inches. Shows a draws knife and convex work keep the bevel up and then on concave with the work with the bevel down. How to use a sharp and honing plane with a chisel of the plane irons over the two angle, the forming of the cutting edge of the 25-degree ground angle and 35-degree handle honed angle. Ground angle is formed with a grinding stone with the only need of the occasional renewing. Honed angle the aim is formed and maintained by rubbing an oil stone to hone a chisel or plain iron oil with the stone, and then hold the blade at about 30-degree angle with the stone, rubbing it into and fro with its length. Are chisels and gouges. Type of chisel. The most chisels of the day have the plastic handles, which can be struck with the hand with the mallet without danger of splitting. In fact, some of the chisels use the wood are made with one piece of the steel. The size of the function of the selection, the shortest of the butt chisel is about 7 to 9 inches long, with a tight space for the next to the 9 to 10.5 inch pocket chisel, preferred with a general shop with work. Largest of the mill chisel with 16 inches long, with a good heavy work, about sell from the home shop with the intended purpose of the basic consideration. Pairing chisel thin blade with the nail grounded to the 25-degree edge, often regrounded to 15 degrees, driving it by hand only to the precise shaving cuts of the fitting of the work of the firmer. Chisel has a thick blade with a heavy driver with a gouge with a hollow blade type. Firmer gauges may have the bevel ground inside and out. Pairing gauges are bevel ground inside and out. Shows the different gauges for the cutting round groove with the mortises chisel with the pairing chisel with the forming chisel, and the bevel edge chisel. Using chisels. Work only with the sharp chisel. Use them only with the material removed. The other tools cannot do with the lapsing joint work to make the close of the pair well. Saw cutting the cross with the joint area with the not quite with the joint depth. Remove the material between the saw cuts and then pare down to the joint level with the chisel with the cutting of the mortise fits first score of the outline with the knife, and then any surface splitting won't extend beyond it. Then bore out the bulk of the wood with an outline with an auger bit. Use the chisel to remove the rest of the finish of the mortar side with the shape of the shell, with the reshaft, the touch of the lock of the trike plates, and can be made with the chisel by a series of close cross-grain cuts with a knife outline followed by the pairing cuts. Cold chisels in there. You have the four general type of the cold chisels: the flat chisel, the cape chisel, with the round nose chisel, and the diamond point chisel, shown with the drawing between the below to the left. You have the ball peen hammer, the drive of them. Any of them always wear goggles in with the one doing the kind of work. The flat chisel, the cut, the rods, the small chain with the drive, with the V cut, with the one on with the both on one or both sides of the end bending, metal to break it off. You can use the flat chisel also on shear metal, starting with the one end of the top of the device jaw. With the use of the cape chisel to shear with the riveted heads with the drive and the groove across the center of the head of the tip off the rest of the use of the chisel with the deformed thread, so the nuts will not shake loose. Round nose chisels make the round top, round bottom cut, is making the oil groove with the bearing parts of the groove cutting with the working from the end of it towards the middle with the diamond point for the sharpening curve of the V cuts. Any cold chisel can be used with a cut with a masonry block with a brick groove and deep enough to break off the wood. The chisel head spreads for the use of the grind off this portion so the chips won't fly off. The cutting of the edge is all of the grind in an angle of about 65 degrees between the surface of the cutting edge. Files and filing. Type of the use of file. The files classified with this section shape of the length of the cut with the area coarseness of the teeth of the type of the file shapes are flat, however, half round, square, and the triangular called the 3 square with a double cut with a special purpose shape of the unnamed for the purpose of the chainsaw of the file, cross cut file, and so on. The common cuts of the teeth are single and double the brass of the curved. In American file, the coarseness of the teeth and straightness of the coarse is rated as well. The coarse are not available in all type of the brass. Then second cut with the smooth with the cut with some type of the draw dead smooth. The length of the file with which is measured of the heel of the weather of the tang with the between the point of the opposite and in which of the may not be actually be pointed size of effect also affects coarseness. Two side with the increase the length of the file with a 12-inch bastard file with a large teeth with the head does about 6-inch bastard file with the root the bottom of the carry out with the same coarseness designation. File selection calls for the matching with the file with the job with the produces smooth surface. For example, with the rotary motor blade, single with the cut file with applied with a light pressure with a rapid material removal, where the smooth finish isn't required with a double cut file with a heavier pressure with the fast material removal and woodworking. Using the rasp and pressure that improves efficient with the hardness of the particular wood with the surfacing file with aluminum and the steel with the touch of the body work. Use curved tools to do the file with the very delicate work with the small machine parts and such with the clockwise mechanism. As with the needle file, small, slim, and the form of the most suitable size, shape of the usable job that the supplier advised with the special purpose of the files are made with several dozen type of the proper fitting with the motion of the job straightening file with which calls for the holding of the file both ends with the removing the length of the wide with a slight angle over the work with the drawing file with the done with the holding the foot Follow both ends of the right angle with the surface of the file, with removing the back and forth over the work to produce something with the finer finish whether you would have achieved the straight filing. Work should be held in any type of the filing by the device with clamp approximated the elbow height for the prevention of vibration, shatter, motion. Mounting of the surface of the file to close the device jaw of the clamp. Start with your files and rack at least protective sleeve to prevent the dulling from the contact tool. So it's rasp cut, single cut, curved length, and double edged, flat, potent piler, half round, rounded, square, and triangular. Alright, care files. Use the combination file with the brush and the clean metal particles with the space between the tube of the brush over the top of the iron. Remove the hard packed chips. Store files in a rack. Never heaped on top of another, as the contact between the files should cause chipping. Vices and clamps. Type of the bench vise with the bench vise with the mini with the bolt on with the clamp alarm knob with the big cover there, but either with the bridge or swivel the type with the light body with the especially with the permanently and with the install with the vice might be the obstacle with the best to select with the clamp with the vice with the full range use with the bolted mounted with the preferably one with the regular pipe jaw with the length jaw width of the opening with at least 3.5 inches. Specialized vice would include a vacuum base with the vacuum base type of the lock with any smooth surface. It's a multi-angle variant vices. Swivel the horizontally can be tilted vertically in any required position. So there's a swivel base vise with a clamp on vise and the vacuum base vise. Woodworking vices. Woodworker vices do not mount on the top of the workbench with the bench of the vices. Do not butt at the edge of the bench over the top of the jaws flush over the bottom of the top of the mounted in this way. But they do obstruct large work on the bench. Jaws of the woodworker's vice are limited with the wood and hardboard. Protect the work on the clamps between them and the U of the feature of some of the half thread that makes it possible to slide a jaw again for the work without a lot of handling turn to the vices. Then heighten only a half turn. When mounting the woodwork vice of the workbench with a heavy lag screw with the voice can be tightened with a wrench instead of the ordinary wood screw. So the woodworking vice and the clamp on woodwork vice. Versatile C-clamp. As a rule, suit clamps are made with the side of the 1/8 inch of the side of the base of the maximum open the depth of the back of the clamp, but it usually ranges from 1 to 4 inches depending on the side of the clamp of the deep-throated type of the available. However, there are some of the manufacturers always insist with the scrape or scrap wood between the clamp to draw over the work to protect the work surface against marring with the protective pads. Also with the surface to distribute the pressure of the uniformly ball joint at the foot of the type of the clamp designed to swivel over the work while not absolutely flat since it's still securely clamped. Buying C-clamps are required to decide with the suit with each of the job that comes up with a few projects will have all sizes you need. Adjusting with the hand screws, tammered hand screw with either the woodworking clamp with the ample jaws with do not require the pads with the scrap with the hard wood to protect. Works into the steel clamping screw with the operate with the crosswise through pivots over the wood jaw with instead of the right required angle with the side of the base of the jaw length ranges from 6 to 14 inches, opening size 3 to 10 inches with a full size range with a non-stocked and with all supplier with the opening and close the hand screw with the place for the jaw with the square end of the toe of the grasp with the right hand spindle handle with the right hand and left end with the left hand with the rotate an entire clamp with the cranking it with the right hand required a direction to open with the close with the jaws evenly with approximately with the making the final tightening and adjustments. If the new clamps have only finished jaws, clamp them with tightly against the blotting of their absorbent paper and with the blocking before using them in the actual work. Spring clamps. Spring clamps are the simplest type of the gripping device to give the light duty work with a high clamping pressure but does not require with the monitor with the gap filler glues with the how with the length of the clamps usually range from a little over 4 inches to about 8.25 inches. Jaws open at 7 1/8 of an inch of 3 inches. They are perfectly suited with the fast setting glue jobs where many of the clamps must be applied quickly. Some of the spring clamps that have vinyl covered jaws protect them from the working with the marring. They do not underrate the strength of these clamps as some of the large ones that have the heavy springs actually require 2 hands to open. Bar and pipe clamps. The bar type of the clamps you call the cabinet and furniture clamps are made with the 2 ways with the jaws due with a flat steel bar at 12 to 48 inches and the jaw with the design to fit 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch steel pipe. The latter clamp of the assembly can be made the size of the cutting of the pipe and the length of the threaded one end of the one jaw with the type of the clamping screw. Usually the clamp set with the fixed jaw against one side of the work and slide with the movable jaw against the other side to then tighten the clamp to the hand screw. Bonding and web clamps. Clamps are designed with a tightened fabric band with a canvas that is nylon around with the work with the clamp the regular shape of the simultaneously with the draw together several of the joints gluing the chair rungs banded together. Commonly ranges 12 to 15 feet with the clamping with the handle with the place around with the work and the plan pulled snug at the clamp body with the tighten with the crank with the ratchet with the mechanism depending on the type of the make. Show with homemade clamp devices, the tightening springs, around the frame, insert edge, apply the pressure, apply wood screw wedges in between the screw using a vise to apply pressure, and using wedges to have an outer frame. Special clamps hold down the attached with the countersunk bolt of the workbench when not need to remove the bolt with leaving the bench top clear. With the edge clamps are useful when working too wide with the long tube with the C-clamp with the pipe clamp. Have the bar clamp attached with the edge of the clamp, shape it to fit with the insert with the miter clamps as bend miter joints with glue setter. So, type of thing are used with the two electrical solder irons by the high wattage irons, the large area with the heat loss with the rapid with the soldering guns with the heat faster with the less of the heating retaining mass. Good for small jobs of wiring, shaping the plastic with the propane torch with the mass for heat with the need with the plumbing connections outdoor with the soldering of the soldering heat can be fitted with a torch. Alright. Knives and cutting tools. Knife and cutting tools may be sharp with the grinding farm with a wething combination with these methods depending on the nature of the knife. The tool with the generally cutting edge is very dull with the nick. But the first be the power ground with the remove the nick for them restore the bevel to finish for the sharp of the edge of the whetstone. To try to reproduce the original factory of the bevel with the general blade section, and since both of the design only use suit with a specific function with the tool of the blade with the butcher with the knives usually with the flash side of the V grind with the strength as well with the cutting ability to recover the tool of the carving the knives require with the less strength than usually hollow with the ground with your easy penetration for fine slicing knives or concave ground similar to the thinner in section with using hollow ground knives. They penetrate easily more easily. Heavy duty cutting and impediments such as the meat cleavers and the axes can vex sides with a reverse hollow grind. Greater strength is also called with the clever grind with the grind tends to nick with it less than half hollow with it penetrates easily. The visible cutting edge of the bevel with the flat hollow with the ground knife is about 30 degrees 15 on each side of the which means with the bevel the width of the twice of the blade with the thickness of the bevel in or limited. On an axe visibility cutting edge of the bevel is about 20 degrees nearly with the 3 times of the blade thickness of the inner bevel limited, but is stronger because of the convex grind but is not suitable for the knife with the whole wetting edge of the finish of the blade between the keen edge is about 5 degrees greater than that of the bevel. The result of the barely visible the secondary bevel the extremely edge of the blade on the knife of the producing on the sliding of the cutting edge of the backward over a whetstone simultaneously move with the sharpening simultaneously lengthwise sharpening the full blade length with the sharpening of the sides with it. Alternately, if you want any of the ultra fine depth edge, do the same with the leather strap on the axe or with the clever job of the sliding of the axe on the stone. Along one side of the edge with the circular motion, the blade is grounded on one side of about 25 to 30 degree bevel with a little longer than twice of the blade. Thickness of the finish of the sliding with the edge back of the fourth as whetstone is about 30 to 35 degrees variation. A few degrees does not matter if the wet angle is about 5 degrees greater than the ground level angle, bevel angle. One sharp at the cutting edge is kept keen for the long intervals, just occasional few strokes on the whetstone with a combination whetstone which has the course of the defined side with the best average of the sharpening job. Size ranges from 5/8 of an inch to 1 3/4 inch by 4 inches to 1 by 2 by 8 inches, and it goes good for most edges of the kitchen with the carving knives. Use the stone, store your stone and wooden retainers. Sketch with the below to keep the stone surface of the lubricated and light with the oil when using it. Remember to lose grit and smudge the sludge from the surface of the solvent soaked rag. Sanding and sandpaper that's coated the bridge with the motive coast of the bridge with the include with the silicone carbonate with the hardest with the sharpest with the aluminum oxide with the carbonate garnet, flint and emery with the bridge with the comeback with the within and cove with the string with the more flexible with the word paper in the standard as the wet side with the residual washes away. The bridge with the particle may be closer together with the clothes coated with the average work with the space widely apart with the open coat with the material with the tend with the clog, hand sand with the head of the painting with the pitcher with the surface with the flint and with the paper that discovered as if the clogs hand and sand clean wood and the garnet paper, which is also low price for the power sanding with the wood with aluminum oxide and shaft long lasting with the silicone carbonate cuts all metals and plastic light pressure also around with the sharpening edge of the glass for metal polishing emery is customary. Work determines abrasiveness is very coarse for fast stock removal to define finishing. Choose with the bright sandpaper, the thread wood and plat with the fiberglass with aluminum oxide, paste with the band made with the abrasive with the tough with the durable with the well suited with the grinding with the finishing with extremely with the hard materials, capable of penetrating practically any surface with the flash cutting with the paper that will continue to cut with an exceptional long time, silicone carbonate abrasive with it is even hard with aluminum oxide with the good with the sanding hard with the plastic and glass ceramic. For sanding with the metal with the abrasive with the material made with the silicone carbonate with aluminum oxide. Both of these are small man-made materials, extremely hard. Emery sandpaper at one time was generally regarded as the best abrasive for the use on metal, however, because of the slow cutting action and the tendency where how quickly emery has been superseded by the powerful abrasive with aluminum oxide with extensively for polishing stainless steel and finishing with a high carbon steel with the bronze with the silicone carbonate with the sharp with the hardest with the substance now with the performance exactly with the grinding finishing brash of the copper and aluminum. Silicone carbonate can be used with the wet or dry with the dry with the is with the U with the garnet with the filament paper that when wet it's a long lasting suitable with the rubbing down with the paint work on the metal with especially out bodies. Section 2, Power Tools from the Home Workshop.